Previously on Game Gengo.
家賃はただ。部屋は2階ね。明日になったら挨拶しようか。
Hello everyone and welcome to Game Gengo, the video series where we learn Japanese through video games. In this episode, episode 20 of Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're going to be going through a conversation between Cloud and Tifa in the apartment, and also be introduced to some strange character with the noises in the night. So, in this episode we're going to be learning 30 new words, so it's a little bit of a short one. As always, we have an immersion section where you watch the Japanese material and try and see how much you understand. Then we have an analysis so you can learn the language that's in the immersion. Then we have a quick review and then a quiz with the battle stage. So let's get into it.
「とりあえず寝起きするだけなら大丈夫だよね。必要なものはおいおい。
ああ、金が必要なんだ。約束は2000だよな。
なんでもやクラウドの初仕事だから気持ちよくポーンと払いたいんだけど。
500？
作戦の準備で物入りだったから今アバランチにはお金がないの。でも心配しないで。明日集金すれば確実に払えるから。
当てにしていいんだな。
集金を手伝ってくれたらね。あれ？これはまた別の依頼になるのか。
いや、いい。最初の約束の2000で手を打とう。つまりあと1500だ。
助かる。じゃあ明日お店でね。今日はいろいろありがとう。おやすみなさい。
203か。おい、大丈夫か？開けるぞ。
クラウドやめて。
部屋に戻ってろ。離せ。ユニオン。
この人は203号室のマルカートさん。病気でずっとこんな感じなんだって。時々様子を見るように大家さんから頼まれてるんだ。クラウドもお願いね。
ああ。
とりあえず寝起きするだけなら大丈夫だよね。
Okay, so starting off this episode, Tifa starts talking about the apartment, and so she says for the time being, if it's just for sleeping, here is fine, right? Toriaezu means for the time being, so that's a new word that we have here at the top. First of all, at once, or the second meaning for the time being or for now. So it's a temporary thing, so you use this toriaezu to say for the time being, for now, right? It's a temporary thing. Toriaezu ne oki suru Neoki means to get up. Neru means to sleep, and oki means to wake up. So we kind of have neru to sleep, okiru to wake up. Neoki means getting up and getting down, right? And so if you think of a place where you go to sleep and you wake up and you go to sleep and you wake up, that's your home, right? That's where you're staying. And so that's what it's being here. It's, you're staying here. So neoki suru dake nara, just if it's the case. Dake means only or just, and then nara means, if it's the case. So if it's just for sleeping or staying here, neoki suru dake nara daijoubu da yo ne. So daijoubu means okay or right, and then da yo ne is just a way of saying right. So it's okay, right? Daijoubu da yo ne. Now in the English translation she says it's a little bare, but it should be enough to get you through the night. And so again we see this really good use of language where it is not a literal translation. None of this means the same thing. However, the actual meaning is really well portrayed. She's still saying the same thing but using completely different words.
必要なものはおいおい。
As for the things you need, little by little. So 必要なものは, 必要 means necessary, something you need. 必要なもの, so 必要な is being used as an adjective. もの means thing, so things that you need. 必要なものは as for, and then we have this new word oi oi. So this means step by step, little by little, gradually. And you can see the ... meaning she hasn't finished. So she's saying, little by little, you can get stuff to fill in your apartment. And so she says that in the English version. She says, if you want anything else, we can always get it, later.
ああ、金が必要なんだ。約束は2000だよな。
Yeah, I need money. The promise was 2,000, right? Means yes, and then 金が必要なんだ. So 金 is money, 金が kane, money is the one that, or is the thing that, 必要なんだ is necessary or is needed. So 必要, that word that we learned, means important, we need it, it's necessary. And then nanda, this is explaining something. It is the case that, right? So whenever you see this nanda, it means that the person is explaining something, and he's explaining that the thing that is necessary is money. お金が必要なんだ。約束は2000だよな. So 約束 means the arranged. As for what was arranged, 2000だよな. So 2000 means 2000, and then just like how Tifa said だよね, this is the more masculine way of saying that. だよな, right. Now in the game translation he says there is one thing, my money. You guys owe me 2,000, remember? So this is a literal translation, really, saying, the thing that I need is that money that you promised me.
何でもやクラウドの初仕事だから気持ちよくポーンと払いたいんだけど。
Since it was Jack of all trades Cloud's first job, I really wanted to pay you all up and feel great, but 何でもやクラウドの初仕事だから気持ちよくポーンと払いたいんだけど。 So 何でもや here means a kind of jack of all trades or a general merchant. Now, in this case, it's being used as a kind of handyman, right? A guy who does any kind of job. And so in a way, it's kind of like a mercenary who does kind of small jobs. But a mercenary is for like war, whereas a nandemoya could just mean anything, right? A handyman, a helper, a guy who does these small tasks. If you've ever seen Gintama, the anime, he actually runs a nandemoya, right? But it's called a different thing. It's called a yorozuya. Now that's the same thing here as a nandemoya. It means a kind of jack of all trades or a general merchant, but it really just means that you take on any job. This was actually told to Cloud by a very important person. Don't want to spoil any story, but in the original game, he was actually told to do this kind of job by someone very important to him. And so that's why he has told them that he is a nandemoya, that's his job. Nandemoya Cloud no hatsu shigoto da kara, so the first job that he's done as a handyman Cloud. Hatsu means first. Hatsu shigoto means the first job. So this is his first job with Avalanche. Dakara, because kimochi yoku pon to haraitai n da kedo. And so kimochi yoku here means kimochi, okay? But it's in this yoku. Think of this like the tef form, okay? It's like a comma where it's connecting to the next word. However, the next word is also an adverb. So it's kind of having two adverbs instead of just one, which is just pon to haraitai. It's kimochi yoku pon to haraitai, which means that in just one go, feeling really good, she wants to pay. haraitai. And so pon to harao means kind of, flicking the coin in the air and going shing 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 and paying someone, right? So she wants to pay him like that. Just ding, there's your money, there it all is. Dakedo is saying however. So it's showing that she can't pay the money the way that she wants to, feeling good and just going ding, there you go. So that's the pon to harao. Pon to haraitai. I want to pay like that.
500?
500? Or in the English version, that's it?
作戦の準備で物入りだったから今アバランチにはお金がないの。
It was costly preparing for the mission. Right now, Avalanche is broke. Saksen, as we're very familiar with, means the mission. Saksen no junbi means the preparation for the mission. So junbi is a new word meaning to prepare for something, the provisions, the setups, right? So what they needed to do to prepare for the mission, that is Saksen no junbi. De, with mono iri datta kara. So this new word mono iri means expensive. It could just mean expenses if it's used as an adjective, but here it's the second one meaning used as a noun, meaning it is costly or expensive. Mono iri datta, it was costly kara because ima, right now, Avalanche ni wa, as for Avalanche, okane ga nai no. Okane, money, ga nai, there is none, they have none, and then no is explaining it but in a feminine way. So, sakusen no junbi de mono iri datta kara, ima Avalanche ni wa okane ga nai no. It was costly preparing for the mission. Right now, Avalanche is broke. Or in the English version, she says, sorry, we spent the rest preparing for the mission. That really is it.
でも心配しないで。明日集金すれば確実に払えるから。
But don't worry, tomorrow if we collect more money, I can definitely pay you back. でも心配しないで、明日集金すれば確実に払えるから。でも, but, and then 心配しないで means don't worry. Okay, so 心配しないでください, please don't worry. 明日, tomorrow, and then 集金すれば. So 集金 is a new word meaning collecting of money, money collection. すれば means if we do. する to do. すれば putting it into hypothetical form. So if we 集金, if we collect money, 確実に払えるから. So 確実 means certainty, okay, or reliability. But if we put it with the ni, it turns this noun into an actual adjective. So now we make it 確実に means certainly or definitely 払えるから. 払う to pay, 払える means to be able to pay. から she's explaining because I'll definitely be able to pay. 確実に払えるから. Now in the English version she says, but not for long, I'm collecting money for filters tomorrow so I can pay you after. Here is a bit more additional information talking about things like filters. In the Japanese version she just says that we're going to be doing some vague money collection, but here in the English she's being specific that it's for the filters.
当てにしていいんだな.
Are you sure it's okay to rely on you? 当てにしていいんだな. So, 当てにする here means to count on someone or to rely on someone, to put your confidence in them. So here, this 当て actually means kind of hopes or expectations. And then にする means to do as, right? When you say, I'm going to do this, or I want to have this, you could say this にする. Here, it's saying 当てにする to do as hopes or expectations. So saying that, can I decide to put my hopes on you? Would be like the really literal way of saying, 当てにしていい. So here we have していい is actually asking, is it okay? If you were to say, これしていい means, can you do this? So これ this していい is it okay? So 当てにしていい is it okay to, put my trust in you? And then んだな it is that. Right? So it is that I can put my expectations on you, right? Very literal translation. And so a much more natural English way of saying it would just be, and you're sure about that? That's a very casual, normal way of saying, is it okay for me to put my expectations on you?
集金を手伝ってくれたらね。あれ?
That is, if you help with the collection. Wait. So, 集金 to collect money, or, so doing something with the 集金, 手伝う. So 手伝う is to help doing something. 集金 or 手伝って means to help collect money. And then here we have 手伝ってくれたら. So this is a conjugation of 手伝ってくれる means to do for me, to help for me. And then we have くれたら if you help for me. 手伝ってくれたらね, right? And then she finishes with あれ? あれ is a kind of way of like showing surprise, like kind of like, huh? Or what? Or wait, right? あれ? Huh? And so that's what she's doing. She's realizing something, and so she says, あれ? And then in the English version, she says, of course, as long as you help, that is. Wait.
これはまた別の依頼になるのか。
And so she realized this would end up turning into another request, right? これはまた別の依頼になるのか. So これは as for this, また again. So as for this again, 別の依頼になる. Betsu means another or separate and extra. Betsu no an extra irai. So irai means a request. So she requested that Cloud help with the bombing mission. That was the first one. And then here is another request to help with collecting money. So this is the betsu no irai, the other request or the additional request. Ni naru means to become. So if she asks for help, this would become another request. Betsu no irai ni naru. And then the noka is just showing a kind of question, right? She's not sure if that's the case, so she's adding this noka. Betsu no irai ni naru noka. It's kind of like, is this going to turn into another request?
いや、いい。最初の約束の2000で手を打とう。
Nah, it's all good. The initial promise of 2000 is fine. So, いや、いい. No, it's okay. And then 最初の約束, 最初 meaning the initial or the first. 約束 here means a promise or an arrangement. So the initial arrangement, 最初の約束の2000, the 2000 that was initially promised, で with 手を打とう. So this is a new word, 手を打つ. And this means to kind of strike a deal, to strike a bargain, to clap one's hands and say, this is done, right? To kind of come to an agreement. And so he says that, look, if you give me my initial 2000, let's just call it a day, right? It's fine. Don't worry about it. And that's what he's saying with this 手を打とう. And so it's 手を打とう. This is actually in the volitional form saying like let's. So let's just clap our hands together and finish it. Let's get rid of it. Let's come to an agreement with just the original 2000. So in the game translation, he says, no, 2000's enough. That's what we agreed on. So that will be the price. And again, I love what the English translator here has done. This is exactly the same meaning, but it's just put in such natural, really nice sounding words rather than the initial promise is fine. That's the kind of literal thing. Here it's saying that that is what we agreed on. So that will be the price. I really like that. It's so natural. They haven't changed the meaning, but it just sounds so good.
つまり、あと1500だ。
In other words, after 1,500 more. つまり、あと1500だ. つまり means kind of in short, or it could say to put in other words, or that is to say. So he's really just saying, look, in short, or in other words, after 1,500. So あと means after, and then 1500 means 1,500. And again, props to the translator. Here they translate it saying, with what you gave me, that leaves 1,500. Again, the exact same meaning, in other words, after 1,500 more, but they're just continuing on with the previous conversation, making it sound more natural. Very nice job. I personally really love literal translations to actually help learn the language, but as far as translating the actual game goes, really good job.
助かる。
Oh, so we learnt this word last lesson, so let's have a look. You're a lifesaver. Tasukaru. So tasukaru means to save someone, but it can also mean to save someone from the trouble of doing something or whatever. And so she's saying that, you know, if he couldn't help, it would be a trouble, and so she is saved. Tasukaru. So in the English version, they translate it to you're the best. I kind of like my version, you're a lifesaver. That's a really like common way of saying it, right? Like saying, oh, you're a lifesaver. Thank you so much for helping. And that's what Tasukaru is saying, right? You've saved me, right? So I kind of like mine a little bit.
じゃあ、明日お店でね。
So tomorrow at the shop, right? じゃあ、明日お店でね。 Ja means well then or so, ashita, tomorrow, and then o mise. This is the same as what we learnt last week, which is just mise, but o mise is just putting an honorific, making it a little bit more polite. O mise de, at the shop ne. Right, so at the shop tomorrow, right? That's kind of a way of saying meet you at the shop tomorrow, right? Or see you at the shop tomorrow, right? And so that's what they say in the English version. I'll see you bright and early at the bar then.
今日はいろいろありがとう。おやすみなさい。
Thank you so much for today. Good night. 今日はいろいろありがとう。おやすみなさい。So we've actually learned some really useful kind of daily conversation in both this episode and the last episode, more than almost the entire series so far. So this is really interesting. 今日, can't believe we're learning this right now. This means today. So 今日は, as for today, いろいろありがとう. So いろいろ means kind of various, all sorts, in all kinds of ways. And ありがとう, again, can't believe we're learning this right now. ありがとう means thanks. So いろいろありがとう means thank you for lots of different things. おやすみなさい. This is good night. And so last episode we learnt the casual way of saying this, oyasumi, but here is a little bit more of a normal way, oyasumi nasai. It's a kind of longer way of saying the same thing. And so in the game translation she says, thanks again for everything, sleep tight. So this is an interesting translation, for everything. That's where the iroiro comes from. Iroiro arigato, thanks for a lot of different things, thanks for everything. I said thanks for so much, but you know, it's the same thing. Thanks for lots, all the different things that you've done, and then oyasumi nasai, sleep tight, good night.
(203)
203, huh? Or in the game translation, guess it's time for introductions. So, I kind of like the English version here. It sounds like a cheesy movie quote from like Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator times, like, I'll be back. Guess it's time for introductions. In the Japanese, he literally just says, I guess it's 203, I guess it's the room next to me. So those weird noises.
おい、大丈夫か?
Hey, you okay? Oi, 大丈夫か?
開けるぞ.
I'm opening the door. 開けるぞ. So here a new word, 開ける means to open. So we're opening the door, 開ける, I'm going to. This zo is a way of emphasizing what you're about to do. If you say 行くぞ, it means let's go, we're gonna go. And here 開けるぞ means I'm gonna open it. Or as the game translation said, coming in. All of a sudden, Sephiroth is in the room next to him, attacking him. Cloud freaks out, he tries to kill him, but the door is not enough, it's too small. His sword bangs into the door, and so he freaks out, and then Tifa interrupts and says, Cloud, yamete. Cloud, stop.
部屋に戻ってろ!
Get back in your room. 部屋に戻ってろ. So heya, the room, ni, to, and then modoru, to return, modottero, he's ordering, get in your room.
離せ!
Let go! Or get off me. So hanasu means to kind of separate from something, and so he's saying, right, get off me, let go, just, you know, that contact that we're having right now, I don't want. So hanase, get off. Hanasu is to part, to separate. Hanase, again, is this ordering, this imperative form, saying to do it. Hanasu turns into hanase. Uni. Oh. Oh, okay, so this person is apartment 203's Makato. Now this is very interesting. So before Tifa talks about this being Makato, we see this kind of flashback, kind of weird vision where you can see these guys in robes kind of going, reunion. And so if you played the original game, you know that there is a reunion event where there are these guys in kind of black hoods scattered all throughout the world reuniting for some reason. This is fantastic that it's being used right now. One, there was actually a guy quite similar to Markato in the slums that we saw who kind of had this problem going on with him, and also it just introduces the concept of the reunion early, which is very important, especially since they've already introduced Sephiroth. I love this. This is very interesting. Okay, so anyway, this person is apartment 203's Markato. Kono hito wa, as for this person, and then 203 Goshitsu. So 203 203 Goshitsu, the room number no Marukato-san. Now, I'm not sure how you would actually put this word into English. Marukato. Markato? Markato? Now, in the English version, they called him Marco, but that's not Marukato. That's just Maruko. So it looks like the translator also didn't know how to make this sound like a good English word. So not Marukato, but Marco.
病気でずっとこんな感じなんだって。
He's been sick like this for ages. 病気でずっとこの感じなんだって。So byoki is to be sick. Now it could here be a kind of physical illness. It could also be a mental illness. Now I've included both of the meanings here just so you can have a look and actually see that it doesn't have to be actual sickness like bleh, but it could also be kind of craziness, right? There's something wrong with his head. Byoki. Byoki de, so here it's saying that he's sick and zutto konna kanji nandatte. He's always been like this. So zutto means just for ages or doing something for a long time. Zutto konna kanji, this kind of feeling or this kind of way. Konna kanji nandatte. Nanda is explaining something and then te is kind of quoting something. So she's saying, I've heard, or it is that, he's been sick like this for a long time. Now in the English version, she says he's got a few problems, but he's not a bad guy. It's funny because he's got a few problems. Yeah, he's crazy, but he's got a few problems. He's not a bad guy. Look, he loves to chat or whatever. It just, I don't know, it just sounds a little bit funny, the English translation, but there's nothing wrong with it, but just it makes me feel a bit funny.
時々様子を見るように大家さんから頼まれてるんだ。
Ooh, 49. I've been asked to come in from time to time to check up on him. 時々様子を見るように大家さんから頼まれているんだ。So 時々 means sometimes or from time to time, 様子を見る to check up on how he is. So 様子 means the kind of appearance, the state of something or someone. 様子を見る means to look at the state that he's in, right? 様子を見る his 様子 his state を見るように. Now this ように means in order to or so that. So she's been asked from the landlady to check up on him. And so here we have 様子を見るように in order to check up on him. 大家さんから from the landlady 頼まれているんだ. I have been requested. 頼む means to request. And then here it's in the passive form. So 頼まれている. And then the んだ is just explaining something. So I've been asked to come from time to time to check on him. 時々様子を見るように大家さんから頼まれているんだ. Or the game translation, the landlady asked me to check on him now and then to make sure he's okay. So this is exactly the same except for the making sure he's okay part is really just to see his state or his condition. But that's really what you're doing, right? When you're checking on someone's state or condition, you're making sure they're not dead, right? You're making sure they're okay. And so that's exactly what they're saying. Now, one piece of interesting information is that on the guy's arm, he has a tattoo of 49. That was also in the original game where these guys had tattoos on them. So this is just proving that these hooded guys are in fact those reunion guys. So very interesting, very interesting. To think that a certain character could be just like them if events were different. Interesting.
クラウドもお願いね。
Ah,
Cloud, please help too. クラウドもお願いね. So クラウドも Cloud as well, お願いね. So お願い means please. So she's asking him to do something. お願い, please do this. お願いね is just kind of making it a little bit soft. Please, please help out, right? And so in the English version, she says, can I ask you to do the same? And then he responds with, or Yeah. Okay, so again, we have an interesting mixture of language in this episode. Quite a lot of useful daily language, like in the last episode. Here we have things like, kyo, today, and arigato, thank you, and oyasumi nasai, good night. So some really useful language, but also some interesting stuff as well, like te o utsu, right, to make a bargain, to make a deal. Okay, so let's have a look at the review. とりあえず for the time being, とりあえず ne oki to wake up and go to sleep or staying somewhere. Neoki. Oi oi. Gradually or bit by bit. Oi oi. Nandemoya. So a jack of all trades, a general merchant, or a kind of handyman to do small tasks, help around. Nandemoya. Hatsushigoto. The first job. Hatsushigoto. And then we have kimochi-yoi or kimochi-yoku. Good feeling, feeling good. Junbi. The preparation or getting ready for something. Junbi. Mono iri. So this is the expenses or something being really expensive. Mono iri. Kane ga nai. I don't have any money. I'm broke. Or kane ga nai. Or kane ga nai. Shukin. So here is money collection. Shukin. Shu for gathering. Kin for money or kane. Sureba. If that's the case, or if you do something. Sureba. Kakujitsu. So it is with certainty. Kakujitsu ni certainly or definitely. Ate ni suru. So to expect on something or to put your confidence in. Ate is expectations, and then ni suru means to kind of decide on something or to do something as. So to put your expectations on something. Ate ni suru. Tetsudao. So to help out. Tetsudao. Betsu. Betsu no means an extra or an additional or another something. Betsu no irai. Irai means a request. Remember, the bombing mission was the first request, and this shukin, money gathering, is the second irai, the second request. Saisho, so the very beginning or the initial. Saisho no yakusoku, the initial arrangement. Te o utsu. So te o utsu means to come to an agreement, to kind of strike a bargain, right? To say, yep, deal. Tsumari. So this means in other words or in short, in brief, tsumari. Kyo, today, kyo, iroiro. So various things. Iroiro, arigato, thank you, arigato, oyasumi nasai, good night, oyasumi nasai. Akeru, to open a door, akeru. Hanasu, to let go or to keep apart, to separate, hanasu. Or the imperative, hanase, let go. Kono hito, this person, kono hito. Byoki. So being sick is byoki, or it could be kind of crazy, right? Something's wrong with his head. Byoki. Tokidoki. Sometimes. So toki actually means time, and then tokidoki, that means sometimes. Tokidoki, sometimes. Yosu means the appearance, the state of something. So my yosu, maybe I look sick, maybe I look weird, my yosu with my new haircut. I did it myself. Or it could just be the state of this guy, yosu. Yoni. So that means in order to, or to make sure, or to take sure that, to take care that. So to make sure that you don't die, shinanai yoni. So that you don't die, this yoni, right? So to make sure that I check on his state, yosu o miru yoni. And then the last word we have is onegai. So please, right, to request something. So please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and leave a comment down below letting me know how you're going so far with your study. So there's my onegai for you. Okay, so that's it for the review. Let's get into the quiz.
作戦の準備で物入りだったから、今アバランチにはお金がないの。あ、これはまた別の依頼になるのか。
いや、いい。最初の約束の2000で手を打とう。 つまりあと1500だ。
今日はいろいろありがとう。おやすみなさい。
開けるぞ。離せ。
病気でずっとこんな感じなんだって。時々様子を見るように大家さんから頼まれてるんだ。クラウドもお願いね。
ああ。
Yay! Congratulations, you have finished episode 20 of Game Gengo. So now you have learnt almost 900 new words. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, Polo, hello. So Polo is saying hello. Oh, wow, you look so big now. Look at you comparing to last episodes. You're already a big dog. Oh, you adorable little guy. He had his first walk today. Finally, we're able to walk him. You're a good boy, aren't you, hey? He's so adorable. So I saw a great comment in the comments section asking that I should include Polo in the last little... that I should include Polo in the end of the video, kind of as a reward for completing the episode. So here's your reward. Aren't you adorable? Oh, look at him. He's so sleepy. But he's so cute. Look, Polo. Oh, you're a little cutie pie. Hey, guys. Oh. Oh, you're a big dog already. He grew up so fast. I needed to take more video of him when he's a little tiny puppy. Oh. So thank you for watching the video. Please leave a like, a comment, subscribe, hit the bell. Let me know how you found the video. And as always, a huge thank you to all of the people on Patreon for all of your support. It really is life-changing. So thank you so much for all of your support and supporting the series and the channel. It's just amazing that you guys, are enjoying yourself and finding this useful for your studies. So thank you so much. So thank you very much for watching. See you again next time. See ya.